Really good product or a service does not always mean that it's going to be a good stock. Case in point, take a look at Wendy's. Past 5 years, negative 61.8%. Fact of the matter is, they're going to continue to sell off until they report their earnings on Friday, at which point they're either going to rip or go down to like $6 a share. The reason why I say that is because pound for pound, I think when you think about the fast food breakfast menu landscape, Wendy's is king. I think they're the best. Yes, I'm saying that as a guy that's invested into McDonald's. You would think I would say, oh, it's McDonald's. No, Wendy's by far has the best breakfast menu. But their stock, absolutely hideous. And that's because when you look at a potential stock to put into your portfolio, I don't just look at it as a ticker symbol, as something that just moves up and down with the stock chart up above my head. No, I think of it as if I'm buying into a business to become a part owner of that operation, a share owner. Which means I want to take into account their financials, their fundamentals, and their metrics. And when you pop open the engine hood to take a look at Wendy's, dude, it's a piece of crap left to right, top to bottom. Everything looks hairy, stinky. It's a mess. I think that's the biggest mistake we amateur investors make. We only think about it as a stock because someone's hyping it up on Reddit or on X or on YouTube, and they don't take the time to take a look at their P&L, their cash flow statement, or their balance sheet. That's so freaking important. The balance sheet is how you assess whether or not their debt and their loan obligations, whether it's manageable. Or worse yet, you're a single metric investor, kind of like a single issue voter, and all you care about is the dividend profile. You're gonna be like, dude, Wendy's dividend profile, their dividend yield is 7%. I love it. It's sustainable at a 70% payout ratio. What's not to like? Dude, they are a freaking dividend cutter. Because their operational cash flow and their profitability is so inconsistent, they had to cut their dividend time and time again in the past 10 years. So what I'm trying to say is, what good is a 7% dividend yield if 2 months from now it's going to go down to 3%, and then another 6 months down the road they cut it again, right? That's why I would argue, I don't want to step on any toes here, Wendy's, phenomenal product, but it's a yield trap and also a value trap. I say value trap because their PE ratio is like an 8 or a 7 and it's priced for death, but it makes sense. I think they're cheap for a good reason. They're not cheap because they're undervalued. They're cheap because the business operation at hand, not high quality. I would argue low quality. This could be an unpopular opinion, but I think there's factors that are far more important than the stock price or the PE ratio. You want to ask yourself, does this business operation have an economic moat? A robust business model that's resilient in the face of their peers, rivals, competition, and AI? What's their ROIC? What's their free cash flow margin? What's their debt to EBITDA ratio?